to address you at this time.
Pleasant morning to all members of the media. At this time, I would like to take the opportunity just to give you, again, the brief as relates to where we are in terms of the statistics for the SOE. I can state at this time that we have at least 868 operations conducted to date. In terms of targeted priority offenders, we have at least 855 persons that was targeted, and we conducted at least 4,962 searches thus far. Of those searches, at least 659 persons were arrested, and 37 firearms were recovered. We had at least 1,053 ammunition was also recovered during those searches. And we have at least 127 kilograms of marijuana and 607 grams of cocaine was also seized during those searches. I would also like to state that we did at least 713 traffic operations, of which we had at least 2,055 traffic offenses being detected. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to state that we have seen some meaningful success thus far, and I want to take the opportunity at this time to even highlight one of those areas that I believe should be commended. The Highway Patrol Branch, they conducted a traffic operation yesterday. And again, they were able to stop a vehicle, and by stopping the vehicle to do tinted checks and compliance, because of the behavior of the driver and the passenger, they did further checks and they were able to find in the vehicle at least 20 packets of compressed marijuana. And the weight of those packets was 11.8 kilograms, with an estimated street worth of $1,760.60 around there. Ladies and gentlemen, to me, this speaks to the fact that the officers are outside and they are working. I want to take the opportunity to, first of all, commend our officers for the hard work that they're doing at this time. I want to even encourage each of our officers to continue pressing as we continue to seek to ensure that we bring to justice those who are found committing offenses. I want to ask at the same time for the public to join us as we seek to work together to get the evidence, to get all the necessary evidence to bring persons to justice. All in all, I think that we are heading along the right road, and we are confident as we continue to pursue in this fight against crime that we will be successful. At this time, I have to give even a further analysis of where we are and what has been accomplished. ACP Smith, who will again go into a further analysis so far in terms of what has been accomplished in the SOE.
Thank you very much, Deputy Commissioner Benjamin. Good morning to the viewing and listening public of Trinidad and Tobago and members of the media. Good morning to you. Yes, I have with me some successes that Mr. Benjamin spoke of. Firstly, what is at the top of our list is homicides. So we have this. Thus far, we are seeing a 44% reduction in homicides. And I'll go into a further breakdown in 2024 as compared to 2025. So we have Port of Spain Division had 5 murders in 2024 around the same period. This year, they have 2 murders. Southern Division had 0 murders last year. Now they have 1. Western Division had 3. Now they have 2. Northern North Division had 2. Now 3, 2025. North Central Division had 4 for 2024 and 0 for 2025. Central Division had 4 for 2024, 1 for 2025. Southwestern 0 as compared to 1. Eastern Division 0 as compared to 1. Northeastern Division 3 as compared to 2. And Tobago Division 2 as compared to 1. So we have 14 murders thus far this year as compared to 25 last year, a 44% reduction. I'll go even further. As it relates to firearm recovery, we have recovered 37 firearms thus far for 2025 as compared to 15 in 2024 for the same period. So that's 22 less firearms last year, or we would say 22 more firearms this year, which puts us at 147% increase with firearm recovery. I'll now go to the violent crimes. And violent crimes, we categorize them as murders, shooting and wounding, sexual offenses, kidnapping for ransom, and robberies. We go. We had 25 murders last year as compared to 14, as I said before, this year. We had 24 shooting and woundings last year as compared to 4 this year. We had 33 sexual offenses as compared to 7 this year. 7 kidnapping last year as compared to 4 this year, and kidnapping for ransom. We had 1 last year for the same period, 0 this year. And robberies, which is quite prevalent around this time leading up to Carnival, we had 80 last year as compared to 17 this year. So we had a total of 170 crimes around the same period last year as compared to 46 crimes, serious crimes, violent crimes, this year, which gives us a 73% reduction in violent crimes. As it relates to property crimes, and we categorize burglaries and break-ins, general larceny, larceny motor vehicles, and larceny from dwelling houses. In 2024, we had 57 burglaries and break-ins as compared to 21 this year. 50 general larceny as compared to 15. 32 larceny motor vehicles as compared to 11. And 3 larceny dwelling house or larceny from dwelling houses as compared to 2 this year. So that puts us at a total of 142 for 2024 as compared to 49 for 2025, and a reduction of 65%. So that is how we are going thus far as it relates to our operations and the successes we are seeing as a result of the implementation of this SOE. Thank you.
SCP Smith, we now invite questions from members of the media, please.
Hi, morning. My name is also Carrington from Guardian Media. Is CP Smith, just reflecting on the statistics that you just give there, would you say that this result is due to the SUE, and if there was an SUE, you might have seen an increase instead of a decrease?
Yes, well, I have to be careful in how I'm answering that, but the fact is that normally around this time, we would see a lot of robberies, a lot of larceny motor vehicles, a lot of house break-ins, because this is the time where people prepare to go to Carnival fetes and preparing themselves for Carnival. The crime rate is generally high around this time as it relates to any type of crime, serious crimes, mostly property crimes, and even some of the violent crimes. So to see this reduction, we know that we are in fact outside there. We know that we are going after some of the priority offenders, or all of the priority offenders that we have listed. We know we are going after persons suspected of committing crimes, that we have name calls and other means by which we have information or evidence against persons. So we have been going after these persons. We have been saturating the communities with patrols and operations. I know we will continue to do that. I know at times we would inconvenience the members of the public through our road exercises. However, it is all for a good reason. I know we are actually seeing the successes based on the SOE and all the operations that we are doing as a result of this SOE.
Hi, good morning all. Shane Zuberville from Guardian newspaper. Just wanted to know, in reflecting on some of the data provided by DCP Benjamin and ACP Smith, can you all provide an update on how many suspected gang members have been detained or charged since the beginning of the SOE? And the reason why I asked that is because one of the rationale given for having the SOE in the first place was that there was supposedly intelligence concerning heightened gang activities and even outright gang warfare. So just a bit of an update on, as of today, how many people would have been arrested or charged under the anti-gang legislation.
Okay, thus I cannot give that accurate figure now. However, I know that we have been engaged in arresting some of these members of gangs as well as gang leaders in some instances. As we all know, we have one gang leader under house arrest. Another person, a prominent person in the criminal world, was in fact placed in preventative detention 2 days ago. That's from the Southern Division. We have in our custody as well some other gang members, and we are in fact looking to proceed in the same direction as the person from Southern Division. So we have been targeting these gang members on a daily basis. Some of them have been arrested and are in custody. Some of them are fleeing for their lives. They are running all over the country, migrating to different parts of the country. That's the reason we are pleading with members of the public. If you see strange persons in your district, please call, because they may be a danger to you or your families. So we are urging you to call, but we are in fact going after these gang personnel, as we stated from the onset, as we began this state of emergency.
Mr. Smith, just following up on Shane's question, if we can identify they are part of a gang, I mean, under the anti-gang law, is there any way that we can see some kind of reprieve or law being passed, or not law, but charges being laid? Because you just confirmed that you know that they are affiliated with a gang, and I know the law gives the police some sort of power, and especially the SOE. So what will maybe the issue that some of these guys who cannot be charged under the legislation that was passed?
Yes, no, we have the anti-gang legislation in place even prior to the SOE. It's a tedious investigation. The SOE gave us some powers to keep them in custody whilst we conduct our investigation as it relates to them. So we have been doing just that, and then we need to take it before the minister when we decide to go further for the preventative detention as it relates to the persons who we detain. Now we must meet a particular threshold in order to send them for the further detention. So that's the reason I'm saying again, or I just want to reiterate that it's a tedious investigation, something that we must be able to satisfy in any court of law when we do that. So we don't want to just do haphazardly investigation. We want to do it in a particular, structured way, so that we will not be making mistakes that were made prior. We really wanted to do this in a proper way. So and we have to stay within the timelines that we were given under the regulations as it relates to the detention of these persons.
Just one quick question from myself. On Monday, the Prime Minister, during our sitting of the Lower House, would have made certain remarks where he basically said he was aware of information where police officers were so hesitant to confront criminals that sometimes in some areas they would have turned off the lights and closed the doors of their stations to avoid confrontation. Yesterday, Police Commissioner Ulahe Christopher would have issued a media release pretty much denying this, saying that the doors of all facilities, police facilities, are always open. I just wanted to hear from, either DCP Benjamin or ACP Smith, what is the situation at some of these stations, or have you all ever heard of these situations happening where officers are, for want of a better word, hiding from criminals?
I would want to answer that question by simply saying that the commissioner would have responded. And I think when she speaks on behalf of the police service. We stand by what was said by the Commissioner of Police. And we are committed to the fight. And therefore, the stations are opened 24/7 at this time to ensure that we give quality service to our citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And we want the citizens to know that if there are any problems, they can feel free to go to the station, and the station would be there open so that they can make their reports.
Well, part of the reason I asked that as well is because there has been concerns or complaints from certain members of the public in places in the Port of Spain division, places in the Central division, maybe not police stations in the strictest sense, but what they call police posts. This is a trend or this is a practice that has been observed. How true it is, I'm not sure. So that's why I asked if you all were aware of any such situations or been made of that, sort of practice.
So again, I would probably want to reiterate that all our stations are on heightened alert, and therefore all our stations will be open 24/7. So that should not be a problem. It should be a problem of the past, because I have informed all my senior officers, divisional commanders, that we are in heightened alert, and it came down from the commissioner that all stations will be open, and it will be open even from now on.
DCP Benjamin, that's a follow-up question. The issue of stations, doors being closed and lights turned off. Is it because there have been reports from the public, they have experienced seeing stations doors being closed, not being that the station is closed, but the doors being closed and the lights off. Is it a manpower issue? Because we have officers who have been talk to us off the record, saying that there's an issue with manpower. So at night, they take off the lights and they close the door in regards of self-preservation, in regards of safety, especially when they don't have the manpower. Is that could be one of the problems that we are seeing, where officers, do having self-preservation, so they would have closed the door to give them some sort of barricade from if anything is happening at the police station?
Our internal policies is what governs really how we operate in terms of our security of all police buildings, and therefore it dictates exactly what we do. What we want to just assure persons that at this point in time, the Trinidad Tobago Police Service, the doors are open, or officers are on high alert, or officers, we are here to do the job, and we are willing and we are able to do the job. And therefore, I'm saying that anytime you go to the station will be open, and our officers will be ready to entertain any report and ensure that at least your report is being, you can rest assured that your report will be dealt with professionally.
Mr. Benjamin, Gregory McBurney from the Trinidad Newsday. We saw the commissioner speaking recently. She was asked about the recruitment, and she said, give you various reasons why the 1,000 recruits, that figure wasn't met. And she said, until that is done, there will continue to be a shortage. Are you able to say, and I know the police service has recalled officers from leave, are you able to say what the deficit is in terms of the shortage in the police service? What numbers, how many numbers you all need, or how many numbers?
So at this point in time, I don't have that information. What I can say is that we continue to recruit, and even very soon we having a recruitment exercise. And even to follow up on that, I would probably pass it on to ACP Smith, who was prior the ACP administration from which the academy would have fallen under. So I'll probably allow ACP Smith to continue.
Thank you, Deputy Commissioner Benjamin. Yes, I will answer that question. We have hired 400 police officers. We had 4 batches training. We call them batch 1, 2, 3, and 4 of 2024. Last week, Friday, batch 1 of 2024 graduated at the Police Academy. 113 officers graduated. The other batches would be graduating in succession, probably a month apart. We will be having passing out parade for batch 1 of 2024 that just graduated on Friday. On Friday coming, which is the 17th, we are in fact in the process of recruiting approximately 300 more officers by the end of this month, January. And we are also in the process of recruiting some special reserve officers in the vicinity of 200 to 250 of them. So in recruiting, we have 400 in training now, right, for batch 1 to 4 of 2024. And when we recruit the 300, by the end of this month, we will be in a deficit of regular police officers by about between 600 to 700 officers at that point in time.
Good morning again. ACP Smith, couldn't help but notice that your title as ACP would have gone from admin to ACP Northwest recently. And special ops, thank you. And one of the things that's so interesting is because last year, the Port of Spain division, of which you currently have purview as part of ACP now, it's more on its fair share challenges, particularly coming down towards the end of the year and even into early this year. Just to get some insight from you, how do you feel about taking on this challenge, especially seeing as we're in the midst of a state of emergency, which seems specifically focused on fighting gang violence, knowing that most of the gang-related murders we will have seen, at least according to Kappa, seem to happen in the Port of Spain division?
Well, there's no challenge that I'm afraid to take on. This is just another challenge that I accept with open arms. I look forward to the support from the Almighty in the first instance and all my colleagues in the Ttps. Port of Spain division is not a strange division to me. I've been here on 2 occasions before, working in Port of Spain division itself and working as the superintendent in charge of at CIA, CRO Port of Spain. So Port of Spain division, I'll just continue what I'm accustomed doing. Operations, managing divisions, it's what I like, what I love, I would say, my passion. I just want to assure the members of the public I'll do my best with the assistance of the senior superintendent, Mr. Tom, his team, and the team of Port of Spain division. I want to commend them up to this point because they have in fact been doing their best as it relates to the crime that is happening in Port of Spain. However, we know there's a lot of work to be done still, and we will in fact be embarking on a series of strategies to try and break down the series of crime and utilizing the SOE to its fullest extent in this regard.
And definitely heading into the carnival season, I know there will certainly be a lot of work to be done.
Yes.
But without going into too much, because I know there's limits to what you could say in our public platform, but the intelligence gathering aspect of the Port of Spain division, I know it's been an issue of some concern for some officers, at least in the division in the not too distant past. Are you confident in the ability of, let's say, the gang unit or the SIU or the special branch to really go out there and get the kind of information needed to guide these exercises?
Well, we have been receiving information from these units thus far, and I have not been in Port of Spain division for a few years though. But I am confident that we will, whether if they are not performing up to scratch, I'm here to examine that. If they are not performing up to scratch, indeed, I will ensure that they perform up to scratch, so that we will be getting the desired information to go after these persons.
And regarding the officers that have been called out from leave, are you able to say, is that for the duration of the SOE, or how long will their leave be deferred for?
Thus far, it's for the duration of the SOE, and the commissioner will decide whether they will be recalled off leave for a longer period, or whether they will be sent back on leave after the SOE is finished.
Well,
hi, good morning or good afternoon, Jasper Gonzalez, Trinidad Express. Is there a cost attached to this state of emergency in terms of overtime payments for officers and so on? And how much is it?
In terms of the officers, again, we continue to ensure that our officers they do the job, and once they do the job, whatever time is allotted, again, we would ensure once the job is done properly that they are compensated. At the end of the day, we are not allowing the money to be the driving factor. We keep ourselves focused in terms of what is our goal, which is to ensure that we bring safety and security to Trinidad and Tobago. So right now, our emphasis right now is really paying particular attention to ensuring that we put persons in terms of those high priority offenders. We want to see if we can detain them, and while we detain, we want to see that we can deter persons as well, so that we can, after the SOE, still be able to be successful in this crime fight.
Thank you very much, Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations, Mr. Benjamin, and ACP Northwest and Special Operations, Mr. Smith. We want to also thank members of the media for joining us today for this press brief. We continue to bring regular updates and hold regular press brief to keep you and members of the national community very much informed. Of course, we continue to partner with the members of the public that if you see something, say something. Under the current state of emergency regulation 240 of 2024, at this time, there is no amnesty in relation to firearm, ammunition, and explosive. So the advice from the Ttps is that if you have information of the whereabouts or location of any firearm, to please contact the police station, contact 999-555-800-TIPS or 736 Ttps, where a police officer can come and retrieve or seize that firearm so that such firearm and ammunition will not cause harm or death to anyone. Thank you for joining our press brief for today. Have a good afternoon.